the first semester, I was really disappointed that I could not get a computer science in IIT. I think most of the students in NSIT were facing this imposter syndrome. Failure is just data. I am that kind of person who used to be a perfectionist. Now I treat failure as just data.
Failing is always, I say, is a very good thing. Fail fast, grow fast is something which I follow myself a lot.
Lead code. I did lead code very diligently. I had set up a number for myself, like 600 questions in a month. So yeah.
In a month.
Yeah.
Hi Sanjana, welcome to Google 525.
Hello, sir. Hi.
So Sanjana, being from NSIT, a 21 alumnus, now working at Google, can you walk through some key decisions or moments that, helped you to get where you are today?
Surely. So I started my journey in NSIT in 2017. So during the first semester, I was really disappointed that I could not get a computer science in IIT. I think most of the students in NSIT were facing this imposter syndrome. But what happened after that was I decided to quickly take up coding roles or coding challenges or try on hackathons or any kind of coding roles I was getting in the college. For example, joining any coding societies, I was organizing hackathons, I was participating in hackathons. So this was the one thing to act early and quickly. In second semester itself, I joined Coding Ninjas. And also I actively sought out mentors in college. This one thing I believe is really important for students to do because you are kind of lost in first year of college. You don't know what to do, where to start. So I actively sought out my seniors who had accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. For example, if somebody had cracked Google or Microsoft, I asked them what to do, what steps to follow, and I worked on them efficiently. So now due to this, because I, was really curious about finding opportunities, I got this opportunity of Codes Microsoft in my second year itself. So I got my first internship at Microsoft in second year, which was kind of a big deal at that time because in second year people did not have any kind of internships. So I think that acting early and quickly helped me to get that internship. Um, I think that was the first stepping stone for me. After that, things were much smoother. After that, I got PPI and then I cracked Google offline. So again, I would believe is like ask for help. This was the one decision which I took and act quickly. So
Not being shy to ask for help. You reach out to people whom you confide in.
yes.
Great. What are some of the differences in expectation of learning curves and challenges when moving from one product company to other? And how you coped up with those?
So I interned at Microsoft twice. Then I moved to a full-time role at Google. So between these two product companies, one major thing was that I was an intern at Microsoft and I was a full-time employee at Google. So there was a difference in job profiles. So as an intern, they really give you everything on a silver platter at Microsoft. We have, parties and we have different kind of activities going on for interns because they want more interns to join their company. So the role is like a little bit different when you join the company as a full-time employee. There are a lot of responsibilities. As an intern, it's just like 2 months. You're responsible for just one project that we'll be doing over a period of 2 months. So this was one thing which was like different from shifting from Microsoft to Google. One common challenge in both of the companies was imposter syndrome. Again, I thought like there'll be IITians and like it's a better college. So I was thought maybe they know better than me. Like, will I be good enough for this project? So I think this was a mistake. You don't have to think that. They just worked harder in one phase of their life. But when you're at the same position, you can start working again from there. So this was one common challenge which I faced, but I overcame it like easily using help mentors. What helped me was being curious and being curious to learn. So I had standardized this thing, like how to approach problems in both Microsoft and Google. So one thing is you have huge code base to work for. In college, it's not the case. You work like at individual projects or like small code snippets. In big product companies, it becomes overwhelming when you have to work for a like huge code base. So this was the common thing between two product companies. But how I handled it is I used to break it down into small tasks and I used to feel like I have to become an expert at this small task. And that's how I cater to the whole code base. And obviously, you cannot understand whole code in one go, even in 6 months, you cannot. So it can feel overwhelming, like why I'm not able to understand this. So I think that's the approach which I followed, and it was a standard for me. And it's still the same way. Even if I shift team, entire project will change. Again, I'll feel the same challenge. So that's how I cope up with it. I start small, become an expert at that, and then I scale.
Great. Can you share an example, of a product or a project at Google that had a significant impact on you? Uh, how you approached it and how the idea and implementation was there?
I think everybody's first project is very special to them. So I think I cannot name the project specifically.
Completely fine.
But at Google, what we follow is STAR approach: situation, task, action, and result. This we follow in every project that we do. We have the situation, we know what to do. We break it down into tasks, and we have metrics for each task. So there's a task, we take actions to achieve certain metrics, and we have metrics to measure the success of the task. So this approach we follow everywhere in doing every project. One thing different, again, I'll just cater to the entire corporate world, is when you're solving a project or a problem, you have to write technical documentation, which is not taught in college time, and this people skip. So it was slightly challenging for me, because in school you're used to writing long answers. In college, you kind of are habitual of finding shortcuts. So you skip writing like in detail or explaining in detail. So this becomes one challenge when you join corporate. You have to explain everything very clearly, very effectively, so that other people can understand whatever you have written, whether the code is there. If you're not able to do that, your impact is limited. So no matter however, like even if you're the best coder in the world, if you cannot communicate effectively, your impact will be limited.
So I think you answered one of my questions early, talking about what students needs to do or when they enter as a fresher to the organization. You cleared it out that their communication needs to be there. What challenges you faced? I would like to understand that, because once you stepped in, there would be different technologies that you were exposed to. Obviously, the technologies that you thought that you studied in university might not have directly worked onto the role that you have done. So how did you try to get comfortable with new technologies? And did you have a mindset or a strategy around it?
In our field in software engineering, this new technology or anything new will keep on coming. It's not about it, not even about like first job or first team. This will happen throughout our journey of career. So what's my strategy is, I just follow this task. There's a big problem. I try to break it down into smaller tasks. I try to learn as much as I can. And I set a time for myself, certain time period depending on however is required. If I'm not able to understand it fully within the time period, I ask for help. I seek out mentor, because you have to move fast. You cannot just dwell into it even if you're not understanding it. So this is one thing. Another thing that I have learned is failure is just data. So I am that kind of person who used to be a perfectionist. If a project is not perfect, I will not deliver it, or I'll not post it, or I'll not show it to teachers or professors. Now this has problem. It delays you basically. Other person who is moving faster, they'll be far ahead of you. So this is one thing I treat failure as just data. It's data. If something did not work out, you write about it, why, how, what to do better, and you move on. So this is one thing which I think corporate world has taught me, and this I apply in real life as well. Earlier, I used to be very overwhelmed with failure, or why I failed, like, am I not good enough? So this used to be very overwhelming for me, but corporate will have taught me that failure is just data.
So just pulling out from that, and it's a very good thing that you brought that up. Uh, Failing is always, I say, is a very good thing. Fail fast, grow fast is something which I follow myself a lot.
Yeah.
So I want to understand, and this is just for the student community because I give them the suggestion coming from you would add value to them, is universities are the best location to fail. So that you fail in university is the best cushion that you can have. How true is that? Should they try and fail fast in university or wait for moving into their career?
Definitely. I say try everything you can in college or university. There are a lot of things to try. People just, there were some of my friends, they wanted to become specialized in one thing. For example, let's say ML, or there was Android developer at my time, web development. people early on, they try to become specialist in one thing, thinking that, it's better to go in depth. But I feel like um, explore as much as you can and then decide what you are passionate about and then go into it. So in college, there are a lot of opportunities. Like you can try Android development, web development, hackathons are there. Then there is open source contribution, GSOC is there. Open source, I believe, is a very like kind of exact simulation of like corporate world. It's a real time simulation. It helps you like how to read other people's code, how to explain your code, version control. So you can really get exposure to a lot of things in college. So try as much as you can. Fail fast. It's okay. Like you'll not like some of the things, but some things will work out for you. So again, like there are ample opportunities in college.
Great. Before we close this, let's have a small rapid fire on few things. One tool or technology that you think every engineer should spend time to learn right now.
Well, right now, AI tool.
AI tools. A mistake that you made early that taught you a big lesson.
Again, I mentioned earlier, I used to be a perfectionist. This should not be the case.
Great. Book, maybe a resource, maybe something that significantly help your technical or career growth that you want to recommend.
Lead code. I did lead code very diligently. I had set up a number for myself, like 600 questions in a month. So yeah.
In a month.
Yeah.
What keeps you motivated in engineering day to day?
Impact. When I see that, especially with Google, that this snippet of code is impacting millions of users, it really keeps me going. So yeah, that's great.
And how was your experience coming to the event that helped you?
It was really amazing. Like every corner of this university is buzzing with energy. Something is happening everywhere in the college, and yeah, students were really energetic. I think we looked at some of the projects of students. They were really receptive of the feedback. They were really curious to learn like how to scale their projects and all. So yeah, they were really energetic. It was lovely to meet them. So
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjita, for taking our time helping students at LPU.
thank you so much.